got bad news in terms of my Boston Celtics. Shout out to all my Boston Celtics fans out there. Kemba Walker will be missing the beginning of the 2020-2021 season with a troublesome left knee. It never necessarily said what exactly he did to his knee, but troublesome is enough for me to say that he did something to it. Not necessarily sure, but he is going to miss the start of the season. He'll be out until at least early January as he works to strengthen his troublesome knee. This is the left knee, by the way, in case you wanted to know. He was consulted with multiple specialists in early October and received a stem cell injection in his left knee and was put on a 12-week strengthening program and will return to encore activities in early December. But his status for game availability won't be known until at least the first week of January, which is what the Celtics announced themselves. Also, I just want to put out there, Walker appeared in 50 games prior to the season suspension in mid-March and averaged 21.2 points a game, a team leading 4.9 assists per game and 4.1 rebounds per game. And from the season start until mid-March, Walker sacked 165 three-pointers and was paced to hit more than 260 of them. Before I get to you, Mario, since this is my team, I'll just say out there, obviously, I hope Kemba Walker gets well. This is a big deal for the Celtics. They need Kemba Walker. I feel like, obviously getting Kemba Walker was a very big deal over the offseason last year. That was a big thing that got us back into the promised land. And I feel like Kemba Walker is one of the guys that we need, especially with guys with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. We need those guys, to make it to the promised land. And Kemba Walker is the centerpiece of all of that with Jason Tatum. So with him not being here in the beginning, I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be long, so we can survive without him for like a good few weeks. But if this is an ongoing situation, then it's going to hit us hard in the long run, if you really think about it, Mario.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. You say that they're going to have, you said something happened in January. I
That's
think,
like,
some,
yeah, they said he will be out until at least early January. So like his in-game status will be set as of the first week of January. That's what the Celtics said.
before I say anything, I hope that Kemba Walker has a full recovery. But I'll say, I'll say this. I don't think it's as big as a blow to the Steelers. I mean, it's not Steelers. Oh my God, to the Celtics, that people think we just on the Steelers thing. That's not me. But
Yeah,
I don't think it's as big as a blow to the Celtics that people think. And the reason why I say that is because, all right, Kemba Walker is a good player. Don't get me wrong, he really is. But it's not a big blow because he's not going to be out that long.
yeah.
It's only going to be till like early January. The season starts in like December 23rd.
Yeah, so we're like coming up to that. And like I
Right.
said, I mean, if it's a long-term thing, then yeah, that's gonna blow real bad. But right now, it's not really. I'm kind of iffy.
Right. And I mean, I believe that if that's the case, then I think Marcus Smart might be the starting point guard. And that doesn't help. And offensively, they lose a lot with Kemba Walker. But defensively, they gain a lot with Marcus Smart. But Marcus Smart is a good defensive point guard. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not the biggest fan of Marcus Smart. I'll admit that right now. But he is a good defensive point guard. He does have good hustle. So I mean, and sometimes he can let it up on offense. He's done it a couple of times. So like, do I expect that consistently out of Marcus Smart to light it up on offense? No. But defensively, I do expect him to play at a high level and lock down where that point guard is. And then all that means really that Kemba's not there is that Jason Tatum's just going to have to be better than what he was last year, which we expect him to be anyway. They still got Jaylen Brown, who's a very underrated player in this league, in my opinion. I think he should have made an All-Star game this year, but he didn't. That's nor if here and there. But they got Ernest Cantor back, Taco Fall and all of them. They got a good rookie class coming in. So I mean, I don't think the Celtics right now are taking that big of a blow with Kemba being out. I think especially that's only going to be short term. For long term, then I can understand where you're coming from because I do not expect Marcus Smart to put up the type of offensive numbers that Kemba Walker has been putting up. I don't expect that. But because it's short term, I can definitely see the Celtics, having a decent record until Kemba Walker comes back, and then they start picking up the pace when Kemba comes back. But again, like I say, it's survival. It's next man up. The next man up is Marcus Smart, and they're only going to be as good as Marcus Smart chooses to be on offense and defense. In my defense, I stress more only because Marcus Smart is a defensive point guard. It's as simple as that. He's always been that. But yeah, I don't think this is as big of a blow to the Celtics as people think, especially for the fact that like during those playoffs, especially Kemba Walker was like a third option in my opinion. I really don't think he was a second option. I think it was Tatum, Brown, and then him. But I think Kemba really embraced that role. I do love Kemba as a player. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a very unselfish player. I think he's a very good player. I think he works extremely hard. Um, I do wish him the best. The only concern I have is when he comes back, how much damage is left on that knee. It all takes one tweak and then you're back to the same injury. Dalvin Cook almost had an ACL scare last game. He's had problems with his ACL. Gordon Hayward, he had that gruesome injury and he wasn't the same since. So I mean, it
That's
could
why
happen anyway. Yeah. So that's the only thing I'm concerned about Kemba with. But I don't think the Celtics are going to be in that much of a struggle as long as Kemba is going to be out short term. If something happens long term, then it's the complete opposite. I think it's a big struggle. But short term, I think the Boston Celtics can survive.
And like you said before, obviously, it's the next man up in Marcus Smart, and it's just really about survival. Just do your job. And so as long as you can survive and do what's right for your team, then, all will be well in the end. But either way, we both wish Kevin Walker the best of luck. We hope for a speedy recovery and him coming back to our thing for his Celtics.